Join me as we journey to the untamed wilderness of northern Ghana to meet these last defenders.
The people within the law enforcement agencies don't really know you're talking about a roan antelope. Somebody thinks it's just like a goat.
International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Isai Sipunga. In the news tonight, Limco Queen University to change Namibian education forever, says Vice Chancellor. AR vows to take action for delayed electrification project in informal settlement. Environment Ministry official arrested for fraud and forgery. UN plants trees at Katutura After School Center. And Roundup, Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. First up, the Limco Queen University has been in the press for all the wrong reasons lately. However, in an exclusive interview with Today on One, the university's Vice Chancellor, Dr. Jose Rirako, debunked all the allegations laid against the university. Dr. Rirako promised that the university will be a game changer in the Namibian higher education sector.
My comment is very clear. I think what has been going on with the minister and the mayor and everybody else, the claims and counterclaims, this has nothing to do with us. I think it's a battle, it's a dogfight between those individuals for reasons known to themselves or between themselves. Job is an academic like myself. And you know, in academia, there are certain records and certain things that we do as academics. What have been said there have nothing to do with us. A great deal of that time was spent at the University of Namibia and the Namibia University of Science and Technology. And what I can tell you is that for the academic training for many years has been more done in abstract, you know, and you get these graduates, as soon as they finish, they will line up now to start looking for work. They will line up now to see where they can be employed. The difference with TVET education and the type of approach that we are following here is that we want to train industry-ready type of students, industry-ready type of students. People who, as soon as they graduate, they create jobs for themselves, or they become innovators. Whatever they are trained here, they can turn that idea into a business. One thing that I should tell Namibians and everybody listening is the fact that accreditation is an evolving process. You have different stages that you have to go through, and you have to satisfy each and every one of those stages. Now, for us, we went through all the different stages. The final stage after you have satisfied all the stages is for NQA to come and look at the premises. Do you have a governorship in place? Like you have a vice chancellor, the one you are talking to. Do you have employees, staff members that you have seen there? Do you have students? You saw the students roaming around. Do you have infrastructure in terms of buildings, equipment, and so on? So after they certify for that, then you get your full accreditation.
Rurako added that the recently published article in a local daily sent out the wrong perception to the public, further adding that the rumors of the building that was demolished in Okahanja allegedly for the construction of the university were unproven.
The students who you have seen in the newspapers, even though they belong to the same fraternity as us, Limco Queen University International, these people were trained by our sister university in Botswana. Okay, we were not involved in that process. We were not even born at that time. Sponsors, the owners of these universities came to Namibia. They were looking for venues or areas or buildings where they can put the building. And I'm told that the government or whoever involved suggested also the building in Okahanja. But if you read the fine print of that article, what has happened there has also nothing to do with the university. It was a situation or relation between the developer and the government through the Ministry of Works and Transport and Communication that went sour. That has nothing to do with our university.
The Vice-Chancellor stated that in 2013, the Namibian government funded students to go to the very same university in Malaysia, adding that the first intake of students for Namibia kicked off in August 2021.
This is my favorite gear, because it speaks for me and all my brothers. Nivea Men Black and White Deo. With 5 times Deo action to protect you and your favorite gear from stains. Try Nivea's #1 anti-stain deodorant. Nivea Men, it starts with you.
Nothing is too good for my daughter. Now here's the deal, Nambi. There's no playing around with other boys before your wedding. Do you understand me? It's the most important day of your life.
Nambi, baby, you have a face like a beautiful person. I got you this Virgin Mary necklace to protect your innocence.
Stupid man. We have loved each other since high school, and now you want to turn your back on me? All the plans we made, you just throw them away? And you want Nambi now? When I've always been there for you, Ziwa, do you understand? And she doesn't even love you. I wasted my time on someone like you.
Don't be like that, Jalia.
Love, everybody needs it. Love.
The affirmative repositioning movement has threatened that if regional and local authority officials do not take swift action to remedy the Havana informal settlement's delayed electrification, the activists will take matters into their own hands by connecting the homes of residents to an unutilized transformer intended to supply electricity. The transformer, according to the AR's chairperson, Elifas Nitomoka, was erected in 2014 and has been accumulating dust ever since.
If they don't act as soon as possible, we are going to get the qualified electricians so that we can be able to connect ourselves on this transformer. Because there is no point in having something that is there and the people are just in the darkness.
According to the AR, before the 2014 presidential and National Assembly elections, the government allegedly constructed a transformer meant to distribute electricity to homes in the Havana informal settlement. And to date, the electric transformer has been collecting dust, leaving residents who are supposed to benefit from the project in darkness. The AR also alleges that the transformer only benefits one formal business at the expense of the residents.
So basically what we are saying, the distribution facility that was created, which was supposed to benefit the masses of our people, is this one. It was created about, 7 years ago. I remember 2014, that's when these things was going on. And it's still here not giving electricity to the residents, and they are still in the darkness. So we don't understand why would government use the taxpayers' money to build a transformer, and then people are still in the darkness. As you see all over there, people don't have electricity, but we've got a facility like this which was built with the intention of giving electricity to the masses of our people. And this is one of the places residents used to walk here. Most of the time they get killed and they get robbed because it's very dark. While we have a transformer which was supposed to be giving electricity to the residents of our people. So we just don't know what is really happening. But this is a dump site place. But there are private business people that have taken over the place. We don't understand why is it that people are allowed to occupy this dump site to do their business. But we've got our vendors who used to trade from here, but they were chased out. But you've got a private business place that was left here to continue doing business in a place that we call it's a restricted area. And as you see, it's not so conducive that our people are given facilities and nobody's really taking, or it's not getting back to the people, probably because it was just during the election and government wanted people to see that they are doing something, but this is not really what we want to see.
Meanwhile, informal traders who make a living selling sweets and vegetables at the Havana dumping site close to the transformer were allegedly forcefully removed from the site since it was deemed a restricted area. The AR has requested that the city of Windhoek investigate as to how a business located near the dumping site was allowed to continue operating while informal traders were evicted by the police. Today on One spoke with a local vendor to get her perspective.
Oh, so got to detain nande shashi ke fimbo tulipotatela ke kutewa pose nena tukane pen. Kono kono bina ina ngashturinga ngeno ko ngona nde. Tapuyanga tuningirwa pongo nando kai makeli na turi motu ditombi pefenga shituli apa tatela iko kukufu apo fimbo ne fimbo ngasho dura ya jako ya. Remember, anu vaiva kufu apo pefembera atuka penyakwe.
The Ombudsman, Basilius Diakua, commented on the matter at a recent press conference, advising aggrieved community members to approach the Minister of Urban and Rural Development to resolve the issue, as the Minister and Municipal Council officials were elected by the residents, and as a last resort, they can approach the Ombudsman's office.
The community have the right, actually, to understand how the municipality operates. Municipality is actually supervised by a certain line ministry. That is actually where their first approach should be. They should go and make noise to this elected official, because the minister is an elected official. Just the same way like the councillors. But that's the procedure, because in fact, when I say that people, they are welcome to come to us, but we are last defense. Only when everything has failed in the provisions, in the area where they have been provided with their remedy channels, then they can come to us. But first they have to go really to the minister, and the minister can address that one with the municipality.
Nesta Kalola, the elected constituency councillor for the Samora Machel constituency, was scheduled to appear on Today on One this week for a comment on the issue, but could not do so due to unforeseen circumstances. He, however, committed to comment as soon as he reports back to office.
And welcome to the She Word, the show where we discuss trending topics amongst women across Africa. Girl, 7 years old. Do you know why you're here?
In 1997, I was filmed by an American news crew at the place I was being held. A shrine run by a priest dedicated to the worship of deities. I was labeled a Trikoshi, a wife of the gods, paying for a crime committed by a family member.
Okay. The purpose of sharing my story was to say, you know, you may have gone through something, a traumatic experience. You are still able to have life. You have life. You can live life. You can contribute to society, and that's what it should be about. It's not more. It's not really about like victimizing or because I honestly don't like watching it.
Prevent cramps with Fabufarm's new MVA cramp stop. Developed to bring fast and effective relief from cramps in athletes, active people, and senior citizens. Manufactured in Namibia, Fabufarm's MVA Cramp Stop contains a carefully selected blend of vitamins and essential minerals to prevent cramps. with a full month supply of capsules. It's Fabu Farm's new MBA cramp stock, your #1 choice in cramp prevention. Now available at all leading pharmacies countrywide.
Early this morning, woke up holding my head, hearing my heartbeat all night long. Shades of this motel keeping me in bed, reading the news, just trying to stay strong. I need to just get up, take a deep breath, keep it together, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Sun on my face, feeling okay. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day.
A 42-year-old chief environmental officer from the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism was apprehended this week for fraud and forgery. The official was amongst 3 suspects who were caught red-handed attempting to purchase goods with fake documents at a local homeware store.
Kazi is the nickname used by the METF employee who is known for selling goods obtained illegally. This is according to the Namibian police force as they apprehended him on Monday alongside 2 accomplices. City police in collaboration with Nampol caught up with the suspects after Capri exclusive homeware employees in the southern industrial area reported him for fraud.
Ek weet nie hoe hulle dit reg kry of hulle konteks binne in governments opgetree want mees van hulle is government payslips wat hulle verander. Toe begin ons seker maar 'n bietjie slimmer raak en ek begin die werkgewers te bel en die banke te bel om te confirm of dit regtig die mense sin is. En so het ons agtergekom dit is nie hulle sin nie. En dis hoe hierdie basis uitgevang het. Hulle sê hy werk nie by die government nie en hy het ook nie sy die bank rekening wat hy vir ons gegee bestaan nie. So dit ons maar amper so hy 2 orders vir ons gemaak. Toe het ek maar vir hom gesê, luister, hy is een van die gelukkige wenners wat 2 orders gemaak het. Hy kan 'n vry kom haal wat hy gewen het. En toe hy kom dit nou van vasgetrek agterkom en toe lyk my nou die seun wat ingekom het, lyk my die seun sê hy sit gestuur.
It was later discovered that one of the suspects involved is the stepson of the main suspect who was used to collect the items bought fraudulently online at the store. The mother of the boy is believed to be working for the Ministry of Defense and was later brought in for questioning.
This gentleman is working at the Ministry of Environment, and it's so strange, also disturbing as government employees, because let me say we don't know who to trust anymore. Who is who nowadays? You are the same colleagues, the same people working for the government is the same people who are being used, or either they're the same people who are doing fraud in all the departments. For example, what happened to this gentleman is he got a device that is using to trace payslip from ministries, finance. He got some from defense, from you name them. There's so many ministries that is getting the payslip. So what he does with these payslips, with the IDs, he goes to certain companies and buy goods on credit. So now this company, for example, the one of Capri, they're about $1 million something. They lost about $1 million something. So it's also dangerous for us nowadays. It is also opening our eyes that when we are opening accounts, let's maybe make sure who is this real person. Before he goes, ask the person, call the ministry that's the same time, and make sure that this person who works there is known. Because, for example, this gentleman, he has been using somebody's payslip, which is not him, and obtaining things from there. So it's an eye-opener for everyone, not only our ministries, not only companies, but even our housekeepers.
Capri exclusive homeware managers say this is not the first time the suspect is visiting their store, and thus far they have lost a lot in revenue through fraudulent activities, making them an easy target as they operate online. The chief inspector at Naples said such cases have been on the increase over the years and urged all businesses and community members to be vigilant and report any suspicious activities to the nearest police station.
Remember the mission, yeah, revisualize the vision, connect to the journey, start early, step one, step two, next step, we start at the beginning of what a feeling, the future we believe in, let's start dreaming, NAMIBIA, no matter what they say, we here to stay, so find believers just like you, hand in hand, this is what we do. More steps, yeah, we get through, let's go. Start again, you can. You connected to the world, yeah, we stand. Determined to move on, hand in hand. Put the switch on, a new reform, let's rise. Together we rise. MTC, make the connection.
Joseph Parkman was in and out of prison, dealing and doing drugs. Then a drug deal went wrong. Joseph was robbed, handcuffed, and scared straight out of the business. For 6 months, he roamed the streets as a homeless addict. Then one night, in a baseball dugout, Joseph met a stranger who totally changed his life.
I stand in awe of the power of the God who's our creator. And Terry and I sit here on this program, and the Lord speaks to us, and it's the word of knowledge. It's one of the manifestations of the Holy Spirit.
Something not always godly.
Not always, that's right. That's right. But there's a lot of negative voices out there, as we know.
Yes, there are.
And
so how do you know when it's God saying, Perry, I want to speak this to you right now?
And sometimes you don't know. And I think you pray over it, and you think about it, and sometimes you just, a lot of times I'll just envision, as you and I are talking here today, I may envision that I'm here talking with God, and how am I supposed to address this issue?
Okay? Realize Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He is the same for you right now. So let's pray. Let's call on his name and let him do the rest for you. Let's pray.
The United Nations recently made a donation of gardening equipment, fruit and vegetable seedlings and trees towards the Katutura After School Center. The center, which is currently being renovated, is home to 500 children and focuses on strengthening the social well-being of these children, some of whom are street children and others from economically challenged families and communities in Windhoek.
We are delighted to have been chosen by the UN to celebrate the UN Day. Your donations come at a time where the center is busy revamping the garden to cater to the more than 250 children that access our programs on a daily basis, and would thus strengthen our soup kitchen and backyard gardening skills that we teach the children.
We need to educate them to take care of their environment, assist them to be part of the solution. Not for young people just to stand on their rights, but also to know and take up their responsibilities. Today, the UN is here and all our partners to plant some trees to assist with gardening and stuff. When we come back in 6 months' time, in a year's time, we want to see that you, the young people of Namibia, took care of it and maintained it and even expand on it.
The UN country coordinator urged the youth at the center to work towards the sustainable development goals and ensure food security for the center.
We encourage our youth today, the future of the land of the brave, to commit to working toward the sustainable development goals, to fast-track development and ensure no one is left behind. As we plant fruit trees today and support your sustainable garden, enhancing the center's food security, let us remember the value of the notable task and the rewards it can reap for more youth.
Other donations made were books, educational toys, new basketball hoops as well as basketballs.
God said. It's interesting to see if we have a look at John 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In other words, what I see drives me to go out what I say. And I believe this is the goal of our Bible school, to teach me to see. And I dare to say what you see must change your heart. Because you cannot move out if you don't have a changed heart. By the word of God, everything is created. God wants you to speak the word so that things can be created. Say to your neighbor, created.
Save big on tons of teas at Pep, like babies for just $26.99 and kids from only $29.99. Big or small, we have them all. Adult teas are a low $69.99. Hot summer, cool teas. Come find your favorite in-store. Life's better with Pep.
Dink jy sy het nog steeds abandonment issues?
Is moontlik.
Ons moeite met die sprokies. Ek probeer so hard om my kind gelukkig te maak, maar ek kry dit nie reg nie.
Probeer net help, dis al.
Jy doen niks sonder bymotiewe nie.
So jy hou van die tattoo?
Nee. Maar jy kan nie liefde koop nie. En beslis nie myne nie.
Jy regular.
Am I that predictable?
Jy is 'n gereelde klant en ons net so 'n manier om koffie te drink.
How do you like your coffee?
Gewoonlik swart sonder suiker.
Does black and bitter only pertain to your coffee preference?
Ek hou maar net van my koffie sonder melk. Hoe gaan dit op bal raak slaan na 2 glase wyn?
That was part of my plan. Wat? Om 'n tipsy te maak sodat jy kan wen. I'm terrible with papa.
In other leading stories, a total of 17 young people from Windhoek who completed their training in horticulture received certificates last week Friday as part of a joint training initiative between the city, the University of Namibia, the UNDP and sponsorship from the Japanese Embassy. The training focused on food production and managing backyard gardens with limited water. Of the 17 trainees, 6 were men and 11 were women, including homeless people and persons living with disability. City of Windhoek Section Head for Social Welfare Cecilia Maruta said investing in agriculture is 3 times more effective in reducing poverty and hunger than any other sector. She further said that a proper functioning food system would help in addressing the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, including reducing hunger, improving nutrition and promoting sustainable agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Carles Letvine, led a Namibian delegation comprising of officials from his ministry and NamWater at the Cairo Water Week 2021, which is taking place from the 24th until the 28th of October. The 5-day event is a collaborative cross-sector platform that seeks to create the opportunity to bring together governments, private sector, civil society in order to promote knowledge sharing, innovation, promotion, and generate further discussions on water, climate change, and the sustainability of the planet for future generations. Sledvine took part in the discussions, stressing that African countries are off track in achieving some of the SDG targets. He also shared Namibia's experience in the water sector and illustrated that Namibia has been heavily impacted by climate variability and climate change, causing great water and food insecurity.
Akili, 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 akili. We love to wash our hands, and this is how we do it. Wash, wash with clean water. Scrub, scrub, scrub with soap. Rinse, rinse with clean water, and then the germs will go. We love to wash our hands, and this is how we do it. Wash, wash with clean water. Scrub, scrub, scrub with soap. Rinse, rinse with clean water, and then the germs will go. Yay!
Well done, soap and water. You got rid of all the germs on Achilles' hands.
Are you a CMAS member? Did you know that should you need medical treatment, you have access to quality private hospitalization, guaranteed specialist treatment in private hospitals across Namibia with Complement Gap. Complement Gap is a complimentary product for CMAS members only, which covers the shortfall between what CMAS pays and private hospitals charge. You and your family have more than 2 million in medical gap cover per year at a very affordable price. That's not all. You also have access to emergency evacuation within Namibia and $10 million international travel cover for those unforeseen events abroad. Take the financial burden off your shoulders, invest in your family's health. SMS GAP to 999 555 and we'll contact you. Terms and conditions apply.
Joseph Shifeni standing by for today's Business on One and Economic Indicators.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. I'm your host, Joseph Shifeni. News has been circulating that there is a looming hike for the public transport sector, in particular for taxi operators. The planned 15% increase comes at a time when there has been a continuous rise in commodity prices and inflation. Business on One approached two unions to find out whether commuters will have to fork out more or not.
The taxi increment, it is something that I'm reading in the newspapers. I heard it also on NBC, but unfortunately it is something that is being done not in line with the procedure that we're supposed to follow. I don't know, I hear that it is not that went to the media talking about the price increment.
News has been spreading throughout the streets of Windhoek and outside the city that the Namibia Bus and Taxi Association announced recently that taxi fare might increase by 15%. The current caretaker of the association addresses the rumors.
I'm not saying there's no need to increase. If the increase is needed, it has to be done in a proper manner, in a way that we have been doing all those years. And currently now, this was like to force the ministry or to force the communities to pay money, of which they are also suffering from the COVID-19. So where the community are going to take to find the money? If the tax cannot also find money, the community also cannot find money. We have to look into all details. But we are not saying there should not increments not be needed. It may be needed, but it must be properly addressed, not by force, not by false statement, not by accusing of each other. Currently, so to say, the increment is completely irrelevant because the community have no money.
According to the executive member of the Public Passenger Transport Association, when such an initiative is decided among taxi unions, certain procedures need to be followed, which include consulting the line ministry before a decision is made.
The process that we're supposed to follow, actually, we're supposed to apply to the Ministry of Work and Transport. And then we have to write a letter to the Transportation Board, which is supposed to authorize the increment, if the increment is going to be above 10%. If it is below 10% or 10%, then we can adjust that price automatically. But in this case, really, we have no idea. We did not consult about the matter. And from the NPPTA side, we have set a meeting for tomorrow where we are going to consult, and we are busy consulting the regions to hear their input so that we can act upon their request.
Thank you for watching. Join me again next time, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Hey kids, are you in primary school and want to get extra supplementary maths, English and science lessons? Then invite Learning In with One Africa TV's #LearnOn1 every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOn1. Invite Learning In.
Now a look at Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. The Windhoek City Police retrieved a Jeep Cherokee that was stolen from a car dealership after the suspects used a fake proof of payment. The suspects delivered the POP close to the end of the workday as a distraction for the car dealership not to have enough time to verify whether funds were reflected in their bank account. Sequena says something fishy is going on, asking why the car dealer did not wait until the money reflected in their bank account. Festus says it's an inside job. Vims commended the law enforcement for a job well done. Princely says, luckily the vehicle is not wrecked. While Johnson asks whether the suspect thought he would get away with it. And that's all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day, only on Today on 1.
Oranjemund, established in 1936, from which point onward CDM, now Namdeb Diamond Corporation, provided every service, the schooling, infrastructure and entertainment required for the people of the town. The winds of change is blowing over Oranjemund, which is no longer a closed town.
This ship was commandeered by King Jao III, and he actually sent a knight to Spain to go and fetch some money from investors, because they wanted to go and fetch some spices in India.
When we were kids, the mine delivered milk, bread, and black paper, black plastic bags for your rubbish, and cleaned your garden, did the maintenance of your house. You had furniture already installed in your house.
Castro Lumbu is standing by for today's sports update.
Welcome to Sports on One. I'm your host, Castro Ulumbu. Having started in the 1950s as a curtain racer to the Commonwealth Games, the Queen's Baton Relay has commenced with less than 10 months to the opening ceremony of the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. Namibia will be one of 19 Commonwealth nations on the African continent that will participate and is set to host the Queen's Baton in December. Today on One Sports has more on this story. Some of the values carried by the Queen's Baton for the Birmingham Queen's Baton Relay of the Commonwealth Games Federation are humanity, equality, and destiny. At the launch of the Namibian leg of the Queen's Baton Relay, Abner Khwaghoub, president of the Namibian National Olympic Committee, noted that the arrival of the Queen's Baton will ignite unity between the Commonwealth nations on course to the Games.
As stated by the Birmingham, and I quote, "This collective journey will ignite hopes, solidarity, and collaboration for the next generation, which will, with those stories, leaving us all inspired to take on the challenges that matters the most to us." So the message is in the baton, and then basically all the stories which are going to be recorded will be stored, and then the next generation basically will be able to listen to that and see that, and basically that should inspire them. The local organizing committee and the Commonwealth Games Association has ensured that the Namibian leg of the Queen's Baton Rally involves as many people and Namibians as possible from different walks of life, so that without any discrimination in terms of race, gender, religion, age, culture, and disability, we will showcase Namibia, and especially the Erongo region, at its best, and guarantee that the Queen's Baton Rally is one of the most memorable events which will take place in 2021. And in order to achieve this collective, we invite all the Namibians throughout Namibia, and most likely those who will be in Erongo region and Gunene regions close by, to join us when the baton arrives and when we are going to start with the rally in the two towns, starting from Windhoek, where it will be received, then it will be transported down to Walvis Bay and Swakopmund, and where the main events will take place. So we invite everybody around those areas to basically be part of this whole process.
Delivering a message on behalf of the United Kingdom government, Charlotte Fenton, the Deputy High Commissioner at the British High Commission in Windhoek, highlighted some key features for the 2022 Birmingham Games. Fenton also showed excitement for the upcoming Queen Baton Relay event set for December in Namibia.
Events that will be held whilst the baton is here in Namibia will provide a perfect opportunity to showcase so much of what Namibia has to offer. The country itself, with its outstanding beauty, from here in Windhoek to Walvis Bay and Swakopmund, the baton will journey through the desert to the magnificent coastline. The people of Namibia, who I know will welcome the baton so warmly and embrace the opportunity to share all the wonderful cultures that we have to offer to the world. Some 6,500 athletes and team officials from the 72 Commonwealth nations and territories will attend Birmingham 2022. The Commonwealth Games will be the first major multi-sport event to award more medals to women than men. For example, through the introduction of the women's T20 cricket, which will for the first time contribute a total of 136 medal events for women as opposed to 134 for men. Birmingham 2022 will have the most extensive parasports programme in the Commonwealth Games history, with 8 parasports confirmed and expanding the programme to include 3x3 wheelchair basketball for the first time, as well as additions to athletics and swimming events. The Games will present an opportunity to enhance trade cooperation in the Commonwealth. Both the UK and Namibia are working to increase bilateral trade opportunities between our two countries.
Namibia, as a Commonwealth nation, will host the Queen's Bulletin from the 13th to the 16th of December 2021 in the Irongo region. And that is all we have for you tonight. Join us again next time for Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Thanks, Castro, for that update. Now we look at the weather forecast.
A look at the weather forecast. But first, an advisory from the Windhoek Met office. Heavy storms are expected in the Omaheke region and Tsumkwe constituency tomorrow. Please take the necessary precautions. The interior partly cloudy and cool to warm but hot in the north with a few to isolated thunder showers but scattered thunder showers in the Omaheke region and the Tsumkwe constituency in places. A fresh to strong westerly wind in the south and west. The coast partly cloudy and cool to warm with a few showers in places. The wind moderate northwesterly to southwesterly. Now look at the minimum and maximum temperatures around the country and beyond.
We have come to the end of this evening's edition of Today on One. You can join us again for a repeat at 9:30, 6 a.m. and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. From me, Isai Sipunga, and the rest of the team. Till next time, good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future. A hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM. Black sunrise, always gonna be a surprise, 'cause we don't know the way it's going to go, 'cause we can see the way it's going to be, 'cause we can see.
We're talking about COVID. Baba G, tell us about the day you found out you had COVID.
The day I found out I have COVID. It was a difficult day. I didn't understand how I got COVID. Because I was always covered, I was always with my hand sanitizer. It came with my wife. And that whole day, I was thinking, what's gonna happen to me? I'm gonna survive. My kids, I was losing my tasting, smelling. There were some days I will test my taste buds and put like 4 or 5 chilies in my coffee. No ways. I didn't taste it.
So did you also lose your appetite in the process?
It was very funny. In the first week, no, I was chowing. Like I will wake up like midnight and make for me something. But after the first week, then the appetite was gone. when you go to bed, your body is also automatically switching off. And that's a dangerous time for COVID. It's like glass pinching you, cutting you inside your lungs. Then the heart was pumping like a rubber pumps. You are losing a lot of fluids at night.
Is that through fever or what?
Yeah, it's through fever.
So have you experienced any side effects from having contracted COVID-19?
No, not yet. Maybe still coming, but not yet.
And your wife?
She was complaining about light head. It's an annoying headache. It's light, but it's annoying.
So basically you didn't take any prescribed medicine from the doctor to recover from COVID?
No, I didn't. The only thing I was using is desperate for my blood not to clot. Because for some people, when your lungs are really, really infected, your blood will start to clot from the lungs, close all the airways. That's where we are passing. I'm smoking cigarette, and when you were a smoker and COVID in your lungs now.
So then after you both found out you had COVID, what did you guys do to protect the kids?
The kids move out from the house. The Buddhists will come, then we'll collect everything for them and just put for them outside. When they came, just grab the food and go.
So what was the biggest battle for you? Was it mental or physical?
Mentally. Mentally was the biggest battle. I'm actually an international movie maker, and my career was cut off. I couldn't put bread on the table. There were some days have one meal for the day, then went to bed. And that was hitting me in my mind. What if Blessing get corona now? Where am I gonna go? Who can I help? There were also some people depend on us in the rural areas. We couldn't help them. My future was black, dark, dark, dark. I couldn't even see that small light at the end of the tunnel. One day, my daughter decided, now, I want to see my father today. And I just told her, yeah, she can come. The first words was, Daddy, I was praying for you yesterday night. Don't worry, Corona will go back soon. And I was asking, from where? From Namibia? She said, no, not from Namibia, from you. And you are not looking good. And she was actually heartbroken. Until today, she hates Corona. From there, then I was like, oh, okay. If the smallest one is saying this, why am I not picking me up self and do the right thing and get rid of this thing? That's where I started to run, to practice, coming to my quiet place. And actually, the main thing that broke my heart during that time was there was no one. The time of COVID, there was no one.
So can you tell us where we are right now?
We are at my silent place. I call this place my silent place. I will come here when the COVID is hitting me like 120%. Looking at the ocean, then you will hear voices like, no, you don't belong here. Today you don't belong here. Get up and go home. Some days they will nurse you like, no, you will survive. Your future is a bright future. You must not give up now. Think about your kids. Think about the people around you. Even the wind will do that. Actually, you must meditate. The thing of COVID is, looks like COVID is afraid of the warmness and is friends with the coldness. So the whole time you are baking in the sun, it helps a lot.
So is that what you did?
Yeah, I did. I will do that twice a day. This was supposed to be a golden year for me, a very, very good golden year for me. But then COVID decided, no, this is not going to be your golden year. Everything was cancelled. We, the filmmakers, this year, from the international shoots, lost lot of money.
You've lost 3 family members? Is it all due to COVID?
No, not all due to COVID. First one, my sister, she was very close to me. She contracted COVID April, and she was in ICU for 3 months. The COVID damaged her lungs, and at the stage her lungs collapsed and she couldn't breathe without the machines. Her kidneys failed, her liver has failed. COVID is real. First of all, COVID is real. It's not a joke. Most of the people, they fall away from COVID regulations. Still early to fall away from COVID regulations. We must still go in line with those COVID regulations.
And how long did you say it took you to recover?
3 weeks, 21 days.
What must somebody do to change your mind from that negative perspective to that positive?
COVID, no job, it's very dangerous. There was one day I just decided I'm gonna take a rope, go to the jetty, sit around there, and after all I will hang there by the jetty. The time I arrived here there was no wind, out of nowhere, the ocean was like angry, and it started to get cold, and I was like, but it was just nice weather. Then I sat down. Then the universe will talk with you, the wind, the sun, the ocean. That's the main thing of COVID. If you don't save yourself, no one will save you. And we must always appreciate what we have around us. That's the main thing in COVID. If you don't appreciate what you have around you, no, you will lose your head.
Smile, smile, smile. When you walk with me, I just want you to smile, smile.
My industry and what I've done with my hands in Namibia, it's going all over the world, and here you are, Baba G, you want to quit? No. I'm excited for 2021. It's not gonna be the same like 2020 now. I'm making back in the groove.
Give me food, clothes, water, and shelter. Nothing else, no matter. You're my moonlight in my oven. Let all my sins be forgiven. Happiness rain on me. Never let the children cry. Namibia, smile.
Many countries that have passed their first peak of COVID-19 are experiencing a second rise in cases. Is this a second wave of infections, and could even more waves lie ahead? Previous pandemics might give us a clue. The 1918 Spanish flu was the most deadly pandemic in modern history. It killed at least 50 million people. Its second wave was the most deadly by far, killing millions more than the first and third. More recent outbreaks, such as SARS and swine flu, have also had 2 or more waves, so it looks like the COVID-19 pandemic could have several too. The World Health Organization has warned about the dangers of a deadly resurgence. Many countries and places have seen infections accelerate after bringing their first waves under control. These rises aren't necessarily new waves, they could be spikes. Spikes are rapid rises in cases that aren't sustained. whereas waves happen over longer periods and often contain several spikes or peaks. Second waves only take place after a first wave has retreated. Many scientists believe more waves are inevitable and think a worse one could hit during autumn or winter. Some other coronaviruses spread faster when the weather is cold. If this is the case with COVID-19, it would put health systems under huge pressure. Many people are still vulnerable, and immunity to the virus might only last a few months for those who recover. It's